The question, who am I, is one of the oldest and most universal inquiries in philosophy. From Socrates to Nietzsche, many thinkers have pondered the essence of human existence and the true nature of identity. And deep down, this question continues to haunt us no matter how wise we become or how old we get. But why is this search for identity so important? Because it touches the very core of who we are. The way we perceive ourselves shapes our choices, our relationships, and even our destiny. However, understanding who we truly are is no simple task. It's not just about looking inward and expecting the answer to appear like a divine revelation. No, this process requires time, reflection, and the courage to confront what we often prefer to ignore. Imagine yourself standing in front of a mirror. What do you see? Your physical appearance, certainly, but also the feelings and thoughts that define your daily experience. The problem is that we often identify only with the image reflected in that mirror, with the labels society gives us, with the expectations of others. But is that really what defines who you are? Philosophy teaches us that true identity goes far beyond the physical or what others think of us. For the Stoics, for example, the true self lies in our virtues and choices, not in external circumstances. You are not what others think of you, Epictetus would say. You are what you choose to be. Understanding who we are, then, is a process of liberation. And this liberation begins when we stop seeking external approval and start looking within ourselves for the answers that truly matter. This requires constant reflection, a willingness to question our own certainties, and most importantly, the courage to live according to our true essence. Think of a moment in your life when you felt lost, unsure of which direction to take. Perhaps it was during a major change, like moving to a new city or switching careers. In such situations, we often seek answers outside of ourselves. But it is only when we look inward and ask, what truly matters to me, that we find clarity. It is not easy, but it is essential for building an authentic identity. We live in a society where labels are everywhere. From a young age, we are bombarded with titles and categories: student, professional, friend, child. As we grow, these labels multiply and often take over our identity. At some point, we begin to believe that we are defined by what we do, the roles we play, and the titles we hold. But do these labels truly reflect who we are? Or are they merely masks we wear to please others or fit into a predetermined mold? Of course, labels can serve a practical function. They help organize the world and define social roles. However, the problem arises when we identify with these labels and forget our inner truth. We start believing that we are the profession we have, the city we live in, or the image others have of us. And when we see ourselves this way, we risk losing touch with our true selves. The French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once said, "Freedom lies in being what we are, not in what others want us to be." In other words, true identity cannot be confined by external expectations. It resides in our ability to choose who we want to be, regardless of the labels society imposes. Moreover, Socrates himself reminds us that "know yourself" is a simple yet profound phrase. True wisdom lies in looking inward and discovering who we are, rather than conforming to what the world expects of us. Self-knowledge is the key to personal freedom, and it begins when we stop looking at what others tell us and start listening to our own inner voice. Think about a time when you were placed in a box or given a label that didn't align with who you truly are. Maybe, as a child, someone called you shy, and you carried that label for years. Or perhaps in your professional life, you were seen only as a good worker without anyone recognizing your true passion or potential. These labels can become invisible prisons that limit our growth and distance us from our true selves. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche also speaks about this when he states, "Become who you are." This phrase is not just a suggestion, but a call to action. It is an invitation to stop being a limited version of yourself and become something more authentic and profound. That is why it is essential to pause and reflect. Who am I beyond what others say? What truly defines me is not the title we hold or external expectations, but our ability to make authentic choices, live courageously, and be true to ourselves. Our true identity is revealed through our actions, not in what others think of us. Each time you feel tempted to define yourself by an external label, take a moment. Ask yourself, does this label reflect who I really am, or is it just a social construct? Free yourself from external expectations and reconnect with your true essence. Our identity is not defined solely by what we think or feel, but above all, by what we do. Philosophy has always taught us that a person's true nature is revealed through their actions, not just their intentions. It does not matter how much we believe we are capable of acting in a certain way, or how strongly our minds tell us who we should be. It is our choices, materialized in actions, that truly show who we are. The Greek philosopher Aristotle, in his work Nicomachean Ethics, states that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. In other words, the repetition of our choices over time shapes our character. Having good intentions or aspirations is not enough. We must consistently put them into practice for them to become part of who we are. This idea is reinforced by Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of living according to reason and virtues. For the Stoics, the greatest indicator of who we are lies in the choices we make when facing life's challenges. How do we react to adversity? How do we treat others? How do we use our time and energy? These daily choices shape our true identity, more than anything external or fleeting. Think of a moment when you had to make a difficult decision. Perhaps you were confronted with an ethical dilemma, having to choose between acting selfishly or altruistically. The choice you made, no matter how small, reflected your true essence, and it is these decisions that over time define who you truly are. Identity is not something fixed. Rather, it is something built day by day through our actions. The existentialist. Philosopher Søren Kierkegaard also reminds us that life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Our past choices may give us clues about who we are, but it is how we choose to act in the present that shapes our future. When faced with a choice, ask yourself, is this action aligned with the person I want to be? If the answer is yes, then you are making an authentic and true choice for your identity. Reflect on your daily decisions, as they are the building blocks of your character. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of your actions throughout life have most defined who you are today? Have you ever made an important decision that shaped your identity? Share your thoughts in the comments. In a world that constantly pressures us to be a certain way, maintaining our authenticity is a challenge. External influences, from the media to societal expectations, push us into a mold, an ideal of success, happiness, and perfection. Often, we are tempted to abandon who we truly are to meet these expectations. But how can we be authentic when the world asks us to be something different? Once again, Stoic philosophy offers a powerful reflection. Epictetus tells us, it is not events that disturb us, but our opinions about them. In other words, the world may try to shape us, but we are the ones who decide how to respond to that pressure. We can either give in to the temptation to fit in, or we can, with courage, stay true to ourselves. Thus, what does it mean to be authentic? Being authentic is not simply going with the flow or rebelling against everything and everyone. It means living in accordance with our own values and principles, regardless of external pressures. It is having the courage to say no when necessary, to make choices that align with our true essence, even if that means going against the tide. Think of a moment in your life when you felt pressured to follow a path that was not yours. Whether in your career, relationships, or even on social media, perhaps you felt compelled to fit into a beauty standard, adopt an opinion just because it was trendy, or pursue a professional path that didn't truly resonate with you. In this context, being authentic does not mean rejecting everything around you, but rather having the courage to listen to your inner voice and make decisions based on who you truly are. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, in his work Thus Spoke Zarathustra, speaks about the importance of becoming who you are. For Nietzsche, the pursuit of authenticity is not an option, but a necessity. He challenges us to go beyond the masks we wear to please others and embrace our true essence. Authenticity, therefore, is an act of courage, a daily choice to remain true to oneself, even in the face of adversity. Be aware of the external influences in your life and ask yourself, is this decision or action aligned with my true nature, or am I just trying to please others? Reflect on this constantly. Being authentic does not mean being rigid or stubborn, but rather having the clarity to know what is truly important to you and acting accordingly, even when the world around you is different. Awareness is one of the most powerful tools we have for shaping our identity. We live in a fast-paced world where we often get caught up in routine without stopping to reflect on our actions, our choices, and even who we really are. But the practice of daily reflection, the constant pursuit of self-knowledge, is what allows us to shape our identity in a true and authentic way. Philosophy, in its essence, is an invitation to reflection. Socrates, in his famous words, said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." For the Greek philosopher, the act of reflecting on our choices, actions, and thoughts is the path to true wisdom. And it is through this constant reflection that we come to know ourselves and, in turn, shape our identity in a more conscious and authentic way. The philosopher and Stoic Marcus Aurelius, for example, set aside daily moments to review his actions and thoughts. He reflected on what he did well, what he could have done better, and how he could become a better version of himself. He understood that personal transformation does not happen automatically, but rather through daily awareness and reflection on our attitudes and behaviors. Think of a situation where you reacted impulsively to something, perhaps an argument, a criticism, or even a minor setback in your day. Have you ever stopped to reflect on what triggered your reaction? Often, the pressure of the moment leads us to act automatically without considering the consequences. The practice of daily reflection allows us to step back from this impulsive response and instead choose to act with greater wisdom and calm. Furthermore, daily reflection enables us to recognize patterns that we might not notice in the heat of the moment. Each day, as we reflect on our actions and thoughts, we can identify where we are acting contrary to our values and adjust our course, becoming better individuals. Take a moment out of your day for reflection. This can be done at the end of the day, before bed, or even during breakfast. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? What could I have done differently? What did I learn from today's experiences? This simple habit can transform your life and help shape your identity in a more authentic and conscious way. The search for our true identity is a continuous journey, full of challenges and discoveries. As we have seen throughout this video, we are not defined by external labels, but by the choices we make, the actions we take, and the courage to be authentic in a world full of pressures. We are constantly shaped by our daily attitudes, and by reflecting on our choices and actions, we have the power to transform our identity to become the best version of ourselves. Philosophy, with its deep reflections and wise guidance, teaches us that self-knowledge is not something that happens all at once, but a constant process. Every day, with every reflection, we have the opportunity to discover more about ourselves and choose more clearly who we want to be. The key to living authentically and meaningfully lies in embracing our inner truth and acting according to our own values, without giving in to external pressures or the labels that society tries to impose on us. As Nietzsche said, "Become who you are." It's not about following a predefined path, but about building our own path with courage and wisdom. Now I invite you to reflect. Have you been true to who you really are? What labels or external expectations have you been carrying that do not reflect your truth? How can you start making decisions that align your life more with your true identity? I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment sharing your perspective on the journey of self-discovery. How have you been working on knowing yourself better and being more authentic? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to receive more reflections like this. Remember, you are the author of your own story, and every day you have the opportunity to write a truer and more authentic chapter.